everyone, to the Collect Jurassic here with another Jurassic World toy unboxing from Mattel's Epic Evolution. Looking at something a little bit different today. We're looking at these 12-inch figures, also known as 12-inch basic figures. These are new species to this 12-inch line that I personally have been collecting since they came out. There's a lot to collect now, but these two are all brand new for that line. We have Suchomimus here with a very interesting color decoration, very similar to the Dino Rivals version way back in 2019. So definitely want to do a comparison there, as well as the Yangchuanosaurus here, very reminiscent of that Dominion toy. So again, definitely want to do some comparisons there, as well as just checking out the figures overall and seeing, what they look like out of the box, how they articulate, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive right in, taking a look at the Yangchuanosaurus box. Just like all the other 12-inch boxes, I think this guy's kind of loose in here. Look, he's kind of moving around. But just like all the other ones here, they have this window box, so you can't actually touch the figure, and then it's secured inside. Well, allegedly secured, right? This guy's moving around, but have that nice big Jurassic Rex logo that's on the packaging this year for all of Mattel's Epic Evolution figures. And the Jurassic World spelled out as sort of isolated. Same thing on all the figures this year with this really cool sort of like mountainscape background. You can see nice renders of the figure on one side. And we also have assembly instructions, which are pretty simple. Just snap on the tail. And then we have other figures in this wave. You see Suchomimus that we're looking at today. And then repacks of Velociraptor Blue and Dilophosaurus. Not new figures. I mean, there's been a couple Dilophosauruses now. I think this is the very first deco from Dominion right here, but they didn't do a new repaint for this wave, which I would love to see them do a classic Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus paint sometime for that one. So let's go ahead and open up Yangchuanosaurus here. Should just have to cut that top off, and then the opening on top should just pull the whole insert out with the figure. So yeah, there it is, sort of posed to fit. And as you can see, the plastic on it appears to have pulled through the cardboard and failed. No big deal. Doesn't look like the figure suffered for it. And then the tail is a separate piece that's also secured much better than the regular figure. Nice to get this nice little background here if you needed that for anything. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pop the tail on. Pose this guy up, and he should be ready to take a look at. So the tail has a little tab piece. It'll only fit in one direction in there, so it makes it pretty simple to put together. Then we got to twist the foot back, pose the arms down, and there it is, the basic 12-inch Yangchuanosaurus. So at first blush, looks very much like the Dominion version, right? Which we'll go ahead and get on the table here in a second. But the big things you're going to want to notice is, yeah, the colors look the same, but definitely a lack of detail on the claws. The teeth are unpainted. There's, as far as articulation goes, we have a nice range of motion on the tail, right? Left, right, up, down, all that good stuff. And then the legs themselves also rotate back and forth, which is nice. And then the arms also rotate back and forth, just up and down, nothing too crazy there. The feet, you can do a little bit of articulation on, not much, but enough that you can pose this guy and kind of funny footed, I guess, if you really wanted to. But yeah, I mean, the articulation is very limited. Nothing on the mouth, no jaw opening, nothing like that. So again, very, very limited articulation there. As far as paint goes, the whole thing is sculpted in this one base plastic color, except for the neck piece is a totally separate casted plastic, which allows you, I guess, to have that highlight underneath the jaw. Then this top piece, where these ridges are, is a separate casted, softer plastic that they've painted red here by the nose, kind of giving Yangchuanosaurus its signature look. It does seem like the eyes are unpainted. I mean, there's definitely an iris there, but they're not technically painted, right? So, all these figures have different trade-offs where, maybe they'll have a little bit more paint on the body, but their eyes will be painted and vice versa. But they are basic figures. They are meant to run about $10. So they don't have a lot of articulation or paint details. And they're also very thin to fit into this thin box. they kind of squish the figure, if you will. So it looks about right on at most angles, but head on, you can definitely get an appreciation of just how squished it is. We'll go ahead and do a quick comparison of this to the Dominion figure, the core figure. As you can see, they are almost a perfect match for coloration, right? Obviously, the deluxe figure, this core figure over here, has all those action features like the opening mouth and the wire controlled range of motion, but it also has pretty limited leg articulation. In fact, it's tied to the action feature. Arms are a little bit more articulated, jaws tied to the action feature, but obviously the painted eyes and teeth go a long way toward adding a little bit more to this figure. But I mean, the base colors are all the same, and there's just more paint going on the core figure. And then as far as sizing goes, the core figure's much wider around the middle than the 12-inch figure. Pretty obvious there. Wow, really obvious there how much sort of beefier it is. This one almost looks like he's starving. And maybe this guy's a little bit taller if you stand him up where he should be. He's definitely a taller figure. But what is cool about these basic figures that I collect them for is because they do make a nice sort of complementary figure to the core figures, especially if you're a toy photographer or someone who just likes to set up your toys with some head cannon. These two definitely look like they could be hunting in the jungle next to each other. Maybe this is a smaller juvenile or something like that, which accounts for its smaller size. But they don't look, it's not like the basic version looks completely inferior. I mean, definitely the painted teeth, we're missing that, but taking a quick cool photo of these two, I don't think you'd necessarily miss those little tiny details when you're just taking something, like I said, like a group photo. So definitely compares really nicely next to this one, complements it. But yeah, simpler figure, cheaper figure too, for $10. But I do think you can get that Dominion Ink Tyrannosaurus for pretty cheap right now too, if you haven't picked that one up and you don't want to get the basic one. But let's go ahead and look at Suchomimus. This one's one I'm really excited for. Again, the deco here is sort of a throwback to Mattel's earlier days. We won't go ahead and look at all the paint or all the box packaging artwork again. We know what that looks like at this point, and we'll just pop out Sucho instead. Boom. Suchomimus, one of my favorite non-Jurassic dinosaur species. I personally haven't loved what Mattel's done with the species. We've had a couple repaints. Now we have this figure, but I'd love to see them do an all-new one similar to Spinosaurus, maybe a little bit on the bigger side, or I just feel like we've seen this mold a couple times. They've revisited Irritator, so why not revisit Suchomimus? But let's talk about the figure we have in front of us. This is the 12-inch basic Suchomimus with this really cool bright color. Looks really nice. You can see paint-wise, pretty simple. They have this darker color that sort of has striations on down to the main body. Then you have this ridge that's separate molded plastic. It's a totally separate piece on this plastic figure that allows it to have some color. Does not extend to the tail, but you can see the sculpting on it. This one's really nice. It's got really nice skin details. They have that ridged sort of spiny sail, very low-key sail, but a sail nonetheless, all the way down to the base of the figure. On the mouth, we have that sort of croc-like snout. These eyes are actually painted with a little bit of dark paint around them to really pop them out. Otherwise, no teeth or claws painted on this one. Also has that rotating tail, the legs that go back and forth, the arms that go back and forth. So a little bit, just that basic articulation that allows you to do a little bit of poses, but nothing too intense. Again, no mouth articulation, which I think is, I know they do that for cost cutting, but man, you think for a dinosaur toy, most kids want to be opening the mouth. So I always thought it was curious that they didn't put that, at least maybe sculpt them with the mouth open, right? Even if it can't articulate. But nope, they've always done these with closed mouth. Every single one, I think, has had a closed mouth. But they're obviously selling well because they're still making this line. So go figure. But yeah, Suchomimus, again, is special because it basically brings back paint coloration that we have not seen since 2019's bigger Suchomimus figure, and this one has a lot of trouble standing. But it's such a cool color. I think a lot of people forget about this figure because it's been so long since it came out. Again, it came out of the box with really difficult time standing, with his legs are super loose. But it's such a cool figure because it does have that dual attack. So it's got the tail that swings, it's got the mouth that closes, and it also has a pretty nice articulation. The legs go back and forth and in and out. The arms go back and forth and in and out, and the jaw and neck is all tied to the action feature. But you can see these are definitely meant to be the same paint job. Obviously this one has paint that goes all the way down to the tail. The striations go all the way down to the mid body. But I mean, besides that, I mean, the faces look the same. Obviously no teeth on the basic figure. Again, size wise, if I stand this one up where it should be, it's clearly a taller, thicker figure overall. But again, they look like they are traveling in a pair. Again, maybe a younger one that doesn't have all his scales in yet. That's why he's got less paint on him. Something like that maybe. And that's why, again, he's smaller too. But they look really, really nice next to each other. That's why I love collecting these, is because they do these sort of like iterations of core figures, and they look super cool next to each other. Again, sort of like a younger one or something. So pretty fun. Would love to get these guys in the water and maybe take a quick toy photo of them hunting together. Yeah, but that's the basic Suchomimus 12-inch. Again, if you are able to pick this one up and you don't have that other Dino Rivals figure, this is a great stand-in. I love this bright color. I love when Mattel does any kind of yellowish base color for their figures. So I know these ones just dropped again for Mattel's Epic Evolution line. These are the new 12-inch figures. Still a little harder to find, but Suchomimus I would definitely recommend picking up. Tyrannosaurus, on the other hand, again, you can get the actual core figure that has a little bit more articulation and paint features. You can actually get this probably for cheaper than you can get this basic one right now. So hard to recommend when you can get the superior figure. But if you're a completionist like me, you still have to get it. So I'll put those links up on Collect Jurassic's toy checklist, and I'll link that in the caption of this video. So if you want to get these yourself, you can. But I think that's all I got to say about these two. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.